were set to fail, 'cause you got a hold in my heart. I could maybe work at it, maybe work at it, maybe work at it, maybe work at it, maybe work.
Hi, it's Sophie for Culture Compass, and I'm back at Purple PRHQ, and today I'm with the extremely soulful J. James Picton. How are you?
How you doing? You all right?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good, good.
How's the new year treating you so far?
Lovely. It's been beautiful. Yeah, wonderful start to the new year. Yeah.
Are you raring to go? Are you still a bit flagging after the festive period?
No. I was sort of really raring to go. Yeah, towards the end of last year, I was kind of excited to get things out and do things. So start of the year was really good. Yeah.
Do you ever switch off anyway as a songwriter, or are you always getting ideas and things?
I don't. I've got to be honest. No, because I'm constantly sort of just coming up with things in my head, whether it be like song-wise or film-wise or whatever else. But yeah, my phone's just jam-packed full of like bits of rubbish that come into my head. Yeah.
So you wake up in the night and you have to type it in, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's literally that bad. Yeah. Yeah, so no, I don't switch off at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about how you started, because you weren't one of these kids that was performing from an early age and always knew you wanted to do music. It only came to you a few years ago on a whim, buying a cheap guitar. So can you tell that story?
Yeah, completely. Well, yeah, I didn't. I was sort of. It always feels a bit distant, and my management tell me off because I shouldn't say it. But I was never into music. I didn't sort of listen to music. I didn't play music. And I sort of joined the Navy at 16, and that's all I ever wanted to do was sort of play sport and sort of be a fitness instructor in the Navy, and then literally this sort of random New Year's Eve, which is about 6 years ago, I was on an all-day session, just on the beer with all my mates and stuff, and I ended up buying a guitar for and it was kind of a bit of a New Year's resolution joke, and then literally 3 months later after that, I sort of went over on my knee and tore all the cartilage and ligaments in my knee playing rugby. And then literally I'd found myself in a situation where I'd never ever been before. I sort of literally played sport the majority of my life, and everything. So when all of a sudden all of that got taken away and I was sent on sick leave, and I couldn't work out, I couldn't play sport, I couldn't express myself in the way that I'd been so used to, I kind of started to go a little bit like I didn't, at the time, I would never have admitted, but I probably had a little bit of depression, thinking, oh shit, what am I going to do, And that's when sort of my mate suggested, why don't you, learn that battered guitar,
Something to do, isn't it?
Something to do and something to focus on, and I'm very much like one of those people that kind of need a focus and want a focus. So that was it, I got the guitar restrung, and literally within like three weeks I had a computer and I had internet, because I didn't even have a computer, I didn't have internet, I didn't really know how to work it all.
Basic.
Yeah, I was literally. So that's how it all sort of started, and then as means to like looking what music to sort of learn up. It was literally a suggestion. My mate was like, why don't you sort of look up Tracy Chapman? I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I looked up that music, and then I was literally just learning music from the tabs on this guitar website that were just easy. There were tabs that I pressed, and there was like nine different chord changes, and I was like, well, there's no way that I'm gonna sort of get my fingers in that. So I literally go for like the ones with like 3 or 4 chords, and then eventually what actually end up happening is the kind of routine that I'd need to do is I'd listen to one window of the song on YouTube, and then I'd listen, and then I'd look at the chords where to put my fingers on the other one, and then the whole rhythm thing, I just couldn't play along to change my hands in time with playing along to the music.
It wasn't natural then?
It wasn't natural at all, especially when you're changing fingers, it's like, oh. So, but like, I was sort of with it, and then in the end I just ended up getting rid of the YouTube and sort of keeping my own time and with humming and then singing along when I was more familiar. And then once I had like made that connection to sort of singing, it was a form of expression which, to be honest with you, I'd never really done before. I'd never really experienced, and like, I was by myself, and I kind of just like I really connected with that, and that I just became hooked,
Yeah, I've heard you say that before, that you didn't used to express your feelings. So how is it now that you are expressing it to wide audiences? Is that a bit scary?
I'm like a bucket now, right? I just like
it's pouring out.
It is, it is. It really, really is. Yeah, it's really nuts. As soon as, because it became like steps. Eventually, first of all, it was like, you know, singing, and I couldn't sing in front of anyone. You know, the first person that sort of heard me sing, you know, with the guitar was my best mate who was actually deployed out, you know, to conflict and stuff, and he came back like 3-4 months later, and he was like, what's this guitar doing?
What's happened to you?
What's this internet? Am I paying for this? You know, like all this sort of stuff. So, and then I sort of sung for him, and then I was a bit embarrassed, you know, because it's not really from my world. I don't really come from that place. So once he was like, he actually said to me, "Fucking hell, mate, you know, you sound like Al Green," and I was like, "Who the fuck's Al Green?" You know,
I didn't know who Al Green was.
No, I didn't. I like all of that. Also, I didn't have a clue. So, you know, and then sort of, I started to become more interested because I was listening to it, and then I was finding out about music through people going, "Oh, you should check this out. You should check this out." And that's how it all started. I completely forgot your question because I just talk far too much.
That's all right. It's better than not talking for me, anyway.
Where was I getting to? I can't remember.
Well, I was going to ask also about your voice, though. Were you aware that you even had a voice from karaoke with the lads on a drunken night out? Did you even know you had this tone?
No, I didn't at all. Like, you know, it literally... of course, when I started to play... like sing and play, obviously then I started to sort of sing, and then eventually when I started to sort of play in front of people, that naturally then led on to like karaoke and stuff on the beer, and then obviously then I was on the karaoke, but before that I never was, you know, because I was not getting enough on that or whatever else. But yeah, so I didn't at all. And that was something that I always felt quite strongly about. It's like I just sort of sing how I want to sing, you know. I don't claim, or I don't want to sound like anyone else.
It's just natural, whatever comes out.
Yeah, and it should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even through my progression and like the development and me learning how to sort of write songs and express myself fully, when I was in sessions with co-writes and stuff, often enough in the early stages, people would make like Al Green type tracks and go, "Oh, go on and sing," and I'd be like, I know, you know, like I don't even know what soul is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't try and make me a soul person when I don't even know what soul is, you know. But then eventually, when you realise that what you're writing, as long as you're writing what's really honest and direct from yourself, that kind of equates to what soul is, you know. And it takes a while for you to realise that, you know.
And talking about working with other people, Booker T is one of the people that you've worked with, and he's worked with like Neil Young, Otis Redding, like huge names. But were you aware of how big these people were when you got to work with him? Was it intimidating? Or?
Yeah, no, it really wasn't. I mean, Booker is, I say this and I can't say it enough, but he's one of the most special human beings I've ever met in my whole life. Like, he speaks so elevated. He's just such a positive, beautiful man, you know. And you'd never realise that he's witnessed and experienced some of the things that he's done in his life. So, like, in meeting him, it was just a complete natural experience. I was aware of Booker. It kind of came about when I was out in New York recording the album, and there was talk of me actually hooking up with a few other people who were sort of big names, and that didn't end up happening for a couple of different reasons. And then. My publisher, John Rudolph, came across from LA and he said, "We've got Booker and I'd love to send him some of your tracks." And that's what happened. He sent my tracks to Booker, and Booker was just like, "Brilliant, I got to work with him," you know. And literally I found myself on an aeroplane out to LA, and then I did a session with Booker, and then we ended up writing 2 songs, and you know, and it was just insane. It was incredible, you know, really great.
Did his uplifting nature affect the songwriting? Do you think they became more uplifting, or?
No, I think generally it became a better experience, because often enough you don't in this kind of world and what it feels like industry, sometimes, you know, and not that this is negative to say, but often enough you get focused on a song finishing at 3.5 minutes or getting to a chorus at 40 seconds. And with all those types of things, you know, with soul music, it's not really about that. It's about really getting what's out, you know, what's in out. Yeah. You know, and Booker was just it became a really organic, natural process because of the way Booker was. You know, it didn't matter what the production was. It didn't matter about anything else. That's all it mattered, was about getting across what you wanted to. And you know, the first song that we did together was Heads versus Hearts, you know, and I had Heads versus Hearts in my head as a kind of concept, like a title, a working title, that I wanted that to be like a part one to what is Play It By Heart, which is the name of the album and the single. So once I told Booker what I wanted to write about Heads versus Hearts, he just literally ran into this like complete sort of freestyle of words that he completely took, he processed, and I literally saw it. You know, he's nearly 70 now, I think he is 70. He literally took it, he processed, and he just regurgitated this like experience, life experience. And actually, if you listen to Heads versus Hearts, in the middle 8 section, you'll hear Booker. And all of those words in that exact order, I was on my laptop, and as he was, as I told him, and he this and then he started to say, Jay, you know, it's been going on since the beginning of time. And then he started going on, and I just don't know what happened, but I felt drawn to just write down what he was saying. You know, he's like, when he speaks, you listen, because it's just, he's got this aura. And then when it came to the middle 8 section, it felt like, do you know what, Booker, like, it'd just be amazing if you just repeated these words, because it was such an organic thing, you know, it was so great, and that's exactly what he did. So yeah, if you check out Heads versus Hearts, middle 8, that were the real words that Booker just came out with, just straight from the off.
It's been going on since the beginning of time. Did we really just restart?
That's in your 3-part music film that you've done. Now, have you always had an interest in film as well? Has that been something that you've...
Not at all. No, not at all. Again, Heads versus Hearts, I often, again, I still believe I'm still quite a novice when it comes to sort of songwriting and stuff. I don't know technically what I'm doing or what I'm talking about, you know, but what I do is like, I react and I sort of speak on my feelings or how it sounds to my ear and all this sort of stuff. And the way that I write songs is like, I visualize stuff in my head. Do you know, like it almost plays out as a film, because that's something that I've always been used to. You know, you watch a film growing up, or you watch whatever, and you can process it and you can see what's happening. So songwriting, it became easy for me when I started to, you know, take emotions or take feelings or take things that are happening and then process them in the way that I could visualize them in my own head. So like with Heads versus Hearts, that's exactly what happened. It was kind of like, it was a way that that's the way I wanted to really portray and put it across, introduce myself, because that was my introduction, you know.
Yeah, so you wrote the treatment, I'm guessing, for the whole thing, but it says the film was created by you. So were you there on set, like almost directing each scene as well?
I did, yeah. I mean, I wrote the treatment, and I co-directed it with a guy called Dave Wilson. He's a fantastic, brilliant director. You know, he's done some absolutely brilliant videos and stuff like that. And he, like, I actually got introduced to Dave through Malay, who I co-produced a couple of records with on my album, and actually me and Malay worked together with Booker. And Malay, you know, I was explaining to Malay exactly how I feel about certain things, and I also sort of, you know, I do a lot of stuff with videos, you know, I sort of often direct and create music videos for other artists and certain things. That's like something else I do, you know, but when Malay told me about Dave, it was just we were like-minded in the way that we thought, and we just had to hook up. And I sort of reached out to David and told him what I wanted to do, and he kind of came back and was like, "Oh, this is great. We should do this," you know. So that's how it came out.
Nice way of getting your music out there, a new different way of seeing it as well, and having that narrative along with it. It really works, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's really, really nice to see the. I mean, obviously, I sort of wrote it in a way that it could lead to any interpretation. It's open and interpreted, you know, to everyone. But it's weird, people keep on saying stuff to me, and I'm like, oh, wow. You know, it's nuts. Like, just this morning, someone said to me, oh, it's really good because, you know, you essentially, like, you've got 4 songs on there, you know, and someone listens to your first song and they might really like it, but then they listen to your second song and then they kind of get so familiar with your voice that they might feel drawn to listening to more. And I was like, she was like, this is a really clever marketing thing. And I was like, I never really thought of it like that. And of course I wouldn't.
Handy coincidence.
Yeah, of course I wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, for me, the strongest thing with the film was the fact that there's no narrative, there's no script. You know, people have to engage the song, they have to embrace the song to really understand what's going on with the storyline. And that's why, you know, and there's a couple of other little things like me not showing my face and stuff, you know, because I until the third part, because I think, you know, everyone's sort of been through sort of wrong relationships and certain things, so to not give that identity, you know, it might be cool that people can just be like, oh, that's like me, or whatever, you know. So yeah.
That's not the only thing that you're doing in terms of film. I think I read on the internet that you're in a gangster movie or something called
St George's.
St George's,
yeah. I think they're still in editing at the moment. But I got a phone call sort of to end of last year, just to see if I wanted to go and, you know, be in it and sort of do a scene and stuff like that.
Can't turn that down, can you really?
Oh, it's brilliant, you know. Yeah, no, it's Frank Harper as well, you know, directed it, who I think's fantastic, from like Snatch, Football Factory, Lock, Stock, you know, I'm a big fan of those films. So, yeah, I was on it, you know.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exciting. It looks like a brilliant film. It looks like a almost part 3 type vibe to, you know, Lock, Stock and Snatch. So, yeah, it should be cool.
And so next, I think you're playing the H&V Forum on February the 7th, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they've got this next big thing type vibe, yeah, which is all very large, isn't it? Yeah.
How does that feel being named that, like next big thing? Is that pressure?
I think there's loads of it. I think Yasmin's doing one as well, you know. So it's but it's, yeah, of course, it's really nice, you know. But yeah, I can't wait. You know, that's my first gig of 2012, and probably for about 7 months. So I'm really looking forward to getting out and sort of playing, you know.
Engaging the audience.
Completely.
As well.
Yeah, because the song's almost like you relive the songs again. You know, there's a lot of sort of bullshit that happens between making the record and doing everything else. So when you actually get to the point of really performing and connecting with the audience, and that's a special thing, you know.
And you're also going to be out on the road with Rebecca Ferguson. I looked on Twitter and saw you've been chatting to her. Have you met yet?
Yeah, no, we haven't. No, we had a little tweet conversation. But yeah, I can't wait. You know, I got like someone, obviously it came up, you know, and I listened to her album, and I was just really taken back. You know, I've got to say, I'm not a massive fan of X Factor at all. But actually, in listening to Rebecca's album, I was really blown away, and the lyrical content, and again the feelings and the emotion that she's been able to put on paper and then express via song, I think it is incredible, and I think a lot of people are picking up on that, you know, and quite rightly.
Her voice is amazing. It's so unique, and it's got that soulful vibe as well.
She means it, right? It's honest, and that's where it should come from. You know, that's how music should be. On certain levels, you know. But yeah, you know, so I'm really looking forward to getting out with her and sort of meeting all her. She's got a good loyal fan base as well, so it'd be nice to meet all them lot.
Hopefully they'll be your loyal fan base of the future.
We'll see how we get on, yeah.
And what stage are we at now with the album? Are we just tweaking final bits now, or?
Yeah, we're tweaking bits and bobs. I'm literally working on, at the moment, still just working on the radio edits for the single. So I'm working on that with a couple of different people, and again the sequencing of the album still being sussed out and stuff, because I'd really like it to sort of flow. The album's more or less a story, you know, and I wanted it to be like that. So it's all about getting that right for me.
And will you have control over the artwork and everything as well, or?
Yeah, I'm really fortunate. I'm really fortunate to have. I'm signed to Decca Records.
Same as Jodie Marie, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's been really great that they've allowed me to really express myself and really be supportive in that. So yeah, I've had obviously the majority saying exactly what goes on with music, films, and design and everything else. So, and again, I don't know, but I think that's how it should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And last year you played Hard Rock Calling, but what's the plan for festival season this year? Do you know yet, or is it still, in the planning stage?
No, I don't know, but hopefully I'll do all of them, eh?
All of them?
Yeah, like every single one.
Greedy.
Yeah, greedy, proper greedy. Because I've only been to, I did the Freedom Festival up in Hull about 2 years ago, and then I did Wireless, and then Hard Rock. And of course they're festivals, but I'd love to go and do like bigger. But they were the only ones I've ever been to. Like let alone
this year.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Let's do it.
Tell them.
Glastonbury. Are you listening? Okay. Well, I've got to wrap it up now.
Cool.
But good luck for this year. I'm sure
Thanks
it's going to be
so much,
massive.
Yeah, no, well, we'll see how
We'll
we
see.
get on.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay. Thank you.
Cheers, Alan.
Thank you.
Bye.
He is so